Number 1. Hana Highway. Alright, let's move away from the American desert and head over to Hawaii for a lush tropical getaway. Also known as Road to Hana, Hana Highway is a 64-mile stretch of road along Hawaii routes 36 and 360, connecting Kalahui to Hana in eastern Maui. The drive is incredibly narrow, crossing over 59 bridges, 46 of which are just one lane wide, so it's best to give a friendly honk at the beginning to let people know you're coming. In fact, with such narrow spaces, including 620 tight curves, it's one of the most treacherous routes in the country, but it's worth every white-knuckle minute. There are plenty of places to stop along the way, to climb cliff faces, hit black volcanic beaches, and cool down at a waterfall. At mile marker 2, there's the awesome Twin Falls, which is a must because most people tend to fly past it as it comes up so early. Throw on your suit and hit those secluded pools and you can act like you're in a 90s shampoo commercial. Then make your way to mile marker 7, hit the trail, and be treated to wild, thick bamboo forests for a moment of true Hawaiian zen. And if you're willing to go on to the end, there's a stunning 400-foot Waimoko Falls. There's so much more to be seen along the Hana Highway, and it's another trip that can be completed in just a few short hours, but it's best experienced at a snail's pace. Number 2. 99 Bend Road to Heaven. So, we've all heard of the Stairway to Heaven, but just wait until you hear about the 99 Bend Road to Heaven. Located in China, the 99 Bend Road to Heaven is a horrifying road that whips and winds its way through Tiananmen Mountain National Park in the central area of the mainland. And as its name would suggest, this extreme road features 99 death-defying hairpin turns constructed hundreds of feet in the air. Construction of this road took nearly 8 years to complete, with construction finally ending in 2006. But this is an interesting road, as it manages to combine culture and history with human ingenuity. To get to this road, you first need to drive up Tongtian Avenue, or the avenue towards heaven. But the 99 curves of this extreme road aren't random. In fact, they represent the 9 palaces of heaven, and by the time you make it to the top, you'll certainly feel like you've ascended to the realm of divinity and celestial beings. But the icing on the cake here is Heaven's Gate, which is the natural rock arch that was believed to be the link between the gods and the mortal world. 99 Bend Road to Heaven is one of the most unique places in the world, where human engineering meets religion, spirituality, and culture in a way that very few places are able to achieve. Number 3. The Great Ocean Road is an Australian National Heritage Site and stretches on for 150 miles from the Victorian city of Torquay to Allenford. The Great Road has a rich history, having been built between 1919 and 1932 by soldiers after they came home, and dedicated to all the Aussie soldiers who died during World War I. The Great Ocean Road is the world's largest war memorial, winding its way through various types of terrain all along the coast and giving travelers access to several prominent landmarks. 12 Apostles limestone stack. This road is an important tourist attraction for the region, so much so that at the end of 2020, legislation was passed to legally protect the route. Great Ocean Road has become such an important cultural mainstay that the 28-mile stretch between Lorne and Apollo Bay has been the location of the annual Great Ocean Road Marathon since 2005. The course record was broken by James Kipalwan of Kenya, who ran it in just about 2 hours and 27 minutes. In addition to the marathon, this is also the setting for the Cadell Evans Great Ocean Road Race, which sees elite cyclists from around the world competing for the top prize. It is the perfect setting for the best of the best to go head-to-head and test their mettle against one another. That is, as long as they can take their eyes off the scenery for long enough. Number 4. Statale Amalfitana. Tucked away in the southwestern part of the country is the Strada Statale Amalfitana, a 30-mile stretch of road between Sorrento City and Amalfi Village, the community that gave the Amalfi Coast its name. This is one of the most fascinating in the world, making this road an absolute must for travelers of any sort. The highway passes through pretty villages close to high and steep cliffs. This iconic road is famous for its hairpin turns, zigzags, the views over the sea, and the sheer narrowness in certain areas. The road winds along with incredibly steep cliffs, where it looks like one false move could mean doom, but with such stunning views, it may not be the worst way to go. In fact, the Strada Statale Amalfitana is so well known and so renowned that it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Those with a keen eye may also recognize the road from the silver screen. It's been featured as the setting for films like Under the Tucson Sun, and even noir icon Humphrey Bogart drove down here in 1957's Beat the Devil. Gamers may even recognize it from the Gran Turismo and Forza Motorsport games. But how intense is this road in Amalfi? Well, it's not as bad as some of the others we've seen, with the biggest frustration here being fellow roadsters and tour buses, because people come from far and wide to get in on the action, so hitting those tight turns can be a little frustrating sometimes. But it's not as bad as sitting in traffic. Then again, the Strada Statale Amalfitana could be the best place to be stuck in gridlock, because it gives you the perfect opportunity to stop and take in the scenery. But when things start moving, it's best to keep your eyes on the road, especially on the north end where much of the two-lane blacktop exists on steep cliffs. Number 5. Stelvio Pass. The Stelvio Pass, or Passo dello Stelvio in Italian, is the second highest paved mountain pass in the Alps. This road zigzags for about 25 miles up and over the Ortler Alps in northern Italy, a stone's throw from the Swiss border. While not ranked highly among the most scenic passes in the Alps, it's considered one of the most dramatic and challenging to drive thanks to its 48 hairpin turns. The road was built by the Austrian Empire between 1820 and 1825 to connect the then Austrian province of Lombardy, which is now in Italy, with the rest of the country. Then, as now, it climbs for about 6,140 feet from its base up to the snow-covered mountain pass. This pass has been regarded as an excellent road for drivers with the right kind of car who like a challenge and don't mind a little bit of peril, because since August 1898 it's hosted a motor vehicle hill climbing event. Things came to a grinding halt though when World War I broke out, with flying bullets taking the place of old-timey cars, but as soon as the war ended, the racers returned. Cyclists also complete along the pass, most famously the Giro d'Italia, which has crisscrossed its way through the Stelvio Pass on 12 occasions since 1953. It wasn't until 2008 that this Italian road began to attract widespread international attention, when the immensely popular Top Gear show named it one of the greatest driving roads in the world. Number 6. Sea to Sky Highway. Highway 99, also known as the Fraser Delta Thruway or the Sea to Sky Highway, is a major highway running from the United States-Canadian border to Lillooet in British Columbia. The entire highway is just over 250 miles from start to finish and has a lot to offer in between those first and last markers. In fact, The Guardian ranked the route as the 5th best road trip in the world in 2006. So just what exactly do you get when you go wheels up? Well, the Sea to Sky Highway passes Delta, North Vancouver, West Vancouver, Squamish, and Whistler before getting to Lillooet. Drivers encounter beautiful bridges like the Lions Gate Bridge between Vancouver and North Vancouver. Hills, valleys, rivers, and tunnels that you just won't find anywhere else. There's also something for everybody along the way. Even museums for those with a thirst for history, or the traveler who just likes to slow it down a bit. Thanks to its stunning scenery blessed with so many recreational possibilities, the Sea to Sky Highway is an inspirational drive for globetrotters, backpackers, and #vanlifers planning a weekend getaway. Some notable stops along the way are the Tantalus Range Lookout, Cypress Mountain Lookout, Nairn Falls, Shannon Falls, and Porto Cave. Number 7. Atlantic Ocean Road. One of the most beautiful roads on Earth is also one of the most dangerous, Norway's Atlantic Ocean Road. But what makes the story of this perilous road so interesting is that while it may be one of the most dangerous in the world, it's also been named one of the best scenic drives as well. So if you're looking to do some good sightseeing on the Atlantic Ocean Road, then you better buckle up. This Norwegian road is home to the Storstesundet Bridge, which is also known as the Bridge to Nowhere, with an interesting approach that looks like a ramp leading all the way up to the sky. And when you reach the peak, you'd better not look down. And so once you manage to get over your fear of heights, this wild road will take drivers teetering all along the edge of the sea. And that's where the real fun begins, because while the waves of the Norwegian Sea may be a gorgeous sight to behold, you can lose a lot more here than your lunch, as the brutality of the waves as they crash over the road during the stormy weather conditions will threaten to bring you back into the sea with it as it recedes into the depths. Number 8. The Karakoram Highway. When Westerners think of the Asian continent, they don't always think of beautiful winding roads, but all of that's going to change with the next entry on this list. It's formerly known as the China-Pakistan Friendship Highway. The Karakoram Highway is an 8,000-mile stretch of road linking, you guessed it, China and Pakistan. Depending on which direction you're going, it starts in Hassan Abdal, just outside the capital Islamabad, and ends in the Xinjiang province in China. This route should sound familiar to some of the history buffs out there, because this is the former Silk Road, one of the most important trading routes ever. So much commerce and culture were exchanged along the way, influencing the future more than one can ever possibly imagine. The Karakoram Highway as we know it today is considered the 8th wonder of the world, since the altitude and the hard conditions in which it was built made it become a 20th century architectural masterpiece. This highway has attracted travelers from all over the world for decades, not only because it's the highest paved road in the world at 15,700 feet up at the Kunjarab Pass, but also because it goes through the Himalayas, the Karakoram, and the Hindu Kush. It's probably the only place in the world where you can view mountains that high from the comfort of a car, and makes for one of the most epic road trips ever. But the route offers so much more than these renowned mountain ranges. Along the way, you'll pass through a number of regions where a large number of ethnic and religious groups have been living for centuries. From the Punjabis at the center of Pakistan to the Ismailis in Hunza, the Tajiks in Tashgurkan, and the Uyghurs in Xinjiang. People have even hitchhiked along the road, staying in local villages and experiencing things the inside of a car just can't give you. The Karakoram Highway isn't just a journey through nature, it's a journey through culture and time.
Number 9.
Milford Road. There really is no place in the world like New Zealand. The people are kind and comforting, and the scenery is stupendous beyond belief. And Highway 94, or Milford Road, is one of the best ways to experience it. The Milford Road climbs up through New Zealand's Southern Alps, making it one of the highest state highways in the country, and the only way to reach the Milford Sound. Perhaps more importantly, though, it also provides access to much of the country's World Heritage areas. Peeling down the pavement here really allows you to see it from all the lush beach forest and the rocky valleys, and the mountains that look like they play host to old wizards, to lakes that reflect the blue sky. While you can't ask for a better destination than the Milford Sound, the journey is just as majestic. This Kiwi highway is short, running for just 74 miles, and can be done in just a few hours if you're going fast enough, but it's best experienced with a slow and steady drive. You won't find many shops or rest stops along the way, but what you will find are an endless amount of Kodak moments to be had along the way, and the occasional trail. You'll pass through a national park, the Eglinton Valley, Mirror Lakes, the Chasm Walking Trail, and the ever-man-made Homer Tunnel, which is a feat unto itself, bored straight through the sheer granite of the Darren Mountains.
Number 10.
The 40. Route 40 is known as one of the most beautiful roads in the world, but if you're an Argentinian local, then chances are you simply refer to it as Lu 40, or the 40. Stretching from the southernmost regions of the country, Cabo Vergenese, all the way up to the north in Ciénaga on the Bolivian border, Route 40 is just a long highway. It's an experience, though. Just ask the poets, authors, musicians, and painters who have been inspired by this South American stretch. Route 40 has become a cultural mainstay for the country and is one of the must-dos for people coming for an extended visit. The highway is over 3,200 miles long and has changed slightly over the years to become more accessible and more attractive to tourists. Beginning on the ocean and winding its way through 11 provinces, 20 national parks, and 24 major rivers before reaching the end. Route 40 even holds the record for having the highest point on a national road when you hit the Abra de la Caye, which is over 16,600 feet up. Just make sure you keep your eyes on the road and don't look down. Like on any other road, though, there are some busy sections. Despite the theme park-esque attraction, people are still taking this to get around town. Things change a bit when you're near Bariloche and between Mendoza and San Juan, but opus through the traffic and you'll be treated to the views of the Andes just 62 miles off in the distance. It's quite a road.